Hey, this is Jason with ASMRoutdoors1. Getting ready to take an overnight backpacking trip with my daughter. Gonna do a little filming on that one too, and thought I would give you a shot at the gear list. Not gonna spend a whole lot of time, but give you a little background for me. I'm a Parks and Recreation Management major. Had a Wilderness Education Association certified outdoor leader, National Standards Program certification out of college. Couple of summers with Boy Scout Camp Daniel Boone and their trekking program, and then about 6 years in the wilderness program, and we led a couple of backpacking trips a year on that one. So my experience, oddly enough, is in old stuff, and it was really heavy. And about 5 years ago I took a trip and started talking to some people, and I wouldn't call myself an ultralight backpacker, but I'm headed that way as much as possible. So a lot of stuff has changed for me in the last 5 years. So I have a gear list that I have built over the last few years, and it's kind of personalized to me, but we'll just run through it and you can see what I do, and maybe it'll help you figure out what you're gonna do. So we'll start with the backpack. So this is Z-Pack frameless. It's an older model. Believe this one is 40 liter. Should have checked on that. But I have done 4-day trips out of this, and just, you know, maybe have to put a little gear on the outside, but it'll take care of it and carry that for you. Have a little Gossamer gear pouch I'm going to put on the shoulder straps. This is a Z-Pack pack liner. The Dyneema is waterproof, but the last thing you want in the woods is a wet sleeping bag or wet clothes, so I double up on that. So now for my sleeping stuff, this is a hammock. It's a gathered in hammock that I made. That's going to be pretty prevalent through all this. I make a lot of gear. And then I have webbing straps from Ripstop by the Roll, and it has a Amsteel ridge line on it. Pretty simple. Not going to get into how I use that. Maybe when I get on the trail we'll do something. Tarp. It is just a seal nylon tarp. Again, I made it's cat cut. Got some Amsteel tie outs and titanium stakes. What else have we got? So I'm bringing back the Thermarest chair, but I'm going to use the Gossamer gear ultralight's a 1/8 inch closed cell foam pad. I'm going to tuck that in the chair when I'm in camp, and then I'm going to use this in my sleeping system in my hammock when I sleep. There. This is my overquilt. Again, looks handmade because it is. Basically, this is a cut down version of the Green Army sleep system. So if you can get a damaged green one cheap or something, you can take the zippers off, hem it up really nicely. It's an overquilt, so it doesn't have anything to enclose it. And I have the bottom, 18 inches or so of it closed up for a foot box so that it doesn't get away from me in the middle of the night. Works great into the 40-degree range. Underquilt, made out of the same thing. It's a cut down Green Army sleep system, and it's just got tie outs under it to hanging under my hammock. And then just a little pack pillow, make things a little more comfortable. All right, pocket flashlight, Olight rechargeable batteries. Carry this every day anyway, so it comes with me on trips. Then I carry a Petzl Takina headlamp, a set of extra batteries. This is an overnight trip, so one set of batteries, no big deal. All right, water bladder, Camelback 2 liter. Also carry Nalgene quart bottle, and then I have added all of my measurements here for when I'm cooking, so I can, you know, put my water out, dump it in my pot, cook it, so I don't have to carry an extra cup. And water filter. Pretty excited to try this out. It's a Platypus 2 liter gravity filter. It's got the bag for the dirty water, bag for the clean water. Seen it in use, but we're gonna test this thing out this week. And depending on what I need, I have just a pretty cheap water bag for clean water if I want to filter some extra water and not walk back and forth to the creek. Or if I have some distance, I had a trip where I was about 3/4 of a mile from a water source this summer, and I have this nylon water bag, and I lined it with a turkey roasting bag because this thing's got some age on it, might not be waterproof, but that turkey roasting bag was great. And you could just use the turkey bag, but this has the handles and it's minimal weight, so made life a little easier in that case. Now, map of the area we're going, compass with a whistle attached to it, and mentioned having heavy gear. I've been using trekking poles since I was probably in my 20s. You know, old ski poles back before they became really popular. These are Leakey's micro varia TAs, and love these things. I use them day hiking, use them backpacking. They're great, especially on the downhills for me. All right, next, stove. Got your standard little canister stove here. We've got a can of fuel. Now, this is a Sea to Summit collapsible pot. This thing's awesome. Match that with a Sea to Summit collapsible bowl and titanium spoon. Got some rope. This time we'll be having to hang food instead of being in a national park where they have their own barebacks. We'll need a little bit of rope. Also have a food bag, and again, this is from Z-Packs. This thing is fantastic. It is hung in trees and pouring rain. Never had a problem with anything getting wet. All right. Now, generally, I've got a folding knife in my pocket, Spyderco Delica 4. If I decide to carry a fixed blade, Montana Knife Company Mini Speed Goat. This thing is super light, crazy sharp, neat little knife. And we've got extra lighter. Not carrying, I've got extra fuel on my list, not carrying that this time since it's just overnight. Lighter down there. Now, I generally carry a firearm. You may not. This is a Taurus 605 357. I'll carry an extra speed loader. The honest answer about bears is, not too worried about bears. Never really had a problem with bears. Hogs worry me. And I tend to camp in the Smokies or, you know, around South Mountains, Western North Carolina. Occasionally you'll run into some hogs, and they're ornery. They can be nasty, so I carry that just in case. Now we get into the toiletries. Again, little Dyneema stuff sack. This one is from Ultralight Sacks on Etsy, and I've had really good success with these too. So toothbrush. I've been using the Hello toothpaste tabs. So they look like this. Chew them up, and then you brush your teeth with them. And I don't take this whole canister. I divvy out whatever I need and take that for the trip. Then I wear contacts, so I have some contacts. I have a case for my regular glasses, and to take reading glasses with me too. Getting old is not easy. I've got a couple of extra stuff sacks over here in the corner, and I'll keep these around while I'm packing. May or may not take them. I don't take extra ones just to take them, but I like to have extra ones around in case I need them, get my stuff together. Let's see here. Also on the toiletry side, so this is an anti-chafing lotion is what it's called. This one is Fresh Balls, Fresh Body. So stuff is great if you have that issue. I always take a couple of them. Couple of flossers for my teeth, contact solution. And let's see here. All right. Rain gear. Sil nylon poncho. Again, this one is one I've made. It's actually a rain robe, so it is stitched up to about here so it doesn't flop around. A little bit harder to get on, but doesn't blow around as much in the wind. Outdoor research. I think it's the Seattle Sombrero. This thing is old and it still works, and it's amazing. Love this little piece of gear for the rain. And then I have a regular hat that I wear if it's just not raining. Usually carry a bandana personally for a bandana for me, and I'll carry a bandana in the food bag to clean up pots and stuff like that, so that I can stuff it in the food bag and hang it at night. And then camp shoes. Crocs. They're ugly, they're light, they work. What can I say? Let's get this stuff. All right. Now, for the times you have to go on the trail, another Dyneema stuff sack. Have a titanium trowel. This thing is phenomenal. So good that I'm going to take a second and try to look this one up, which I meant to do earlier. All right, there it is. QIWIZ, QWIZ, not exactly sure. So QIWIZ.net is where I ordered this one from, and it's the large size. And it is amazing. You just kind of go 2 cuts on each side all the way around and then start working it out. I wouldn't recommend trying to pop the whole cat hole out at one time, but I have never had an issue as thin as this thing is, and it weighs nothing. So we've got the trowel. My daughter has some supplies in here for the feminine side of the house. There's some soap, some hand sanitizer, and I have started using the coins instead of like a toilet paper roll. So these are porta wipes, and you add a little bit of water. So I carry an extra Ziploc bag, put 2 or 3 of the porta wipes in there, drop a little bit of water in there. They'll swell up while you're doing your thing. By the time you're done, you basically have wet wipes that are kind of the size of a washcloth, and they're great. Really like that option. Let's see, here's got a really small first aid kit. I've got a decent amount of first aid training, and you can go buck wild on first aid stuff. But basically, Leukotape, got some Band-Aids, some over-the-counter stuff, Neosporin, a couple of pairs of gloves in there. If anything big comes up, you're probably going to have to be winging it anyway. So with the Leukotape, I can use stuff to make splints, use my foam pad, this and that. So I don't carry a ton of first aid stuff anymore, just the most likely to be needed stuff. Your mileage may vary. Sure, do whatever you want to. Doesn't really matter. If you want a bunch, carry a bunch. A little extra sunscreen in a small bottle, a couple of bug wipes. Sunglasses, hit or miss. Sometimes I take them, sometimes I don't. If I'm fishing, I'll usually take a pair of polarized glasses. Now, vitamins, over-the-counter medication, prescription medication, obviously, whatever you want to take. I do some supplement stuff, and I'll usually divvy it out by the day. So maybe even by the morning and by the evening, so I can grab it, open it up, take it, and I don't have to sit there. I don't have to bring bottles, and I don't have to sit there and kind of go through it and figure out what's what. Now, obviously, cell phone, and you may have another option you use, but I'm a big fan of Avenza maps, and I use the I buy the Nat Geo maps on Avenza and use them while I'm hiking, and they're great. I'll carry an extra battery, and then I've got the charging wires in here. And then this is my normal wallet, so it's pretty small. But a lot of times what I'll do is I'll take out maybe a debit card, take out my ID, and I usually carry some cash on me. Now, before I forget, I've got a little fire starter kit. May or may not take it, depends on what the area is and what I plan on doing. It's got a little flint steel and some little campfire starting things I made there. Egg carton, sawdust, wax, and some cotton on there. Back to the money. It's a good idea to carry a little bit of cash. I got myself in a situation on my daughter's first backpacking trip with me. We made a trip from the road to nowhere in the Smokies to Hazel Creek, and a huge thunderstorm come in. We got caught on the west side of Hazel Creek and could not cross the river. There was no way I was going to make my daughter try to cross it because I wasn't even comfortable trying to cross it. We ended up having to get a ride with Fontana Marina, and they pulled us out so I had enough money, a little cash on me to pay them for the boat ride. Then I had to get a little more extra cash at the time because I ended up having to pay somebody to drive us from Fontana Dam to the road to nowhere. A whole lot cheaper than doing something stupid and getting myself in a lot of trouble. But you just never know, you know, if you need something on the trail and you need a ride, you need this, you need that, need some help. Gives you a little cash to kind of get somebody to help you, or thank somebody for helping you, because when you're in trouble, yeah, a little cash might go a long ways for you. So go through, my daughter has a pretty similar list. See if I can get some, there we go. We'll go through some of the variables with her. I'll have her carry a little bit smaller water bottle for personal use and coffee and stuff. A small can of some kind of a pepper spray she'll carry sometimes. A lot of this stuff is just repeats of what I carry. I'll have her carry an extra water filter, something smaller that's not as big. Depending on the system, sometimes I'll just have her carry the extra filter itself. I think I'm going to have her carry this little bag too this time, because it's not much weight to it. She has a Big Agnes ultralight sleeping pad that she uses. And then I've got the Gossamer gear cover to go over that. She has had some issues with slipping, so that's going to help. And then she sleeps in, believe it or not, this is a Z-Pack Solo single person tent. The ground cloth is in here and the carbon fiber stakes are in here. It is not a whole lot bigger than my Nalgene bottle. And to be honest, doesn't weigh a whole lot more than my Nalgene bottle. I think I weighed this thing at 15 or 16 ounces. And that's it. It may even be a little bit less. And it doesn't have a floor on it, so she's got the ground cover, bathtub ground cover. It's got like a mesh net that goes around and connects with the roof. But she absolutely loves this thing and has weathered some pretty nasty rainstorms. And except for a little bit of splash from the sides, it stayed very dry in it. So she really likes it. And then she's carrying that and a Z-Pack. I believe this is one of their older 30-liter models. And the only thing I have done different with the Z-Pack is I went to Ripstop by the Roll and grabbed these little connections. Instead of some of them have buckles. Mine had buckles, and they're really tiny micro buckles. Sometimes they'll pop loose. So these things, she had some tabs in there, and it's basically going to hook into that tab, and it gives me the ability to put a tent on the bottom if it's wet, you know, whatever. She needs a little extra space, she's got that. Other than that, I'll occasionally carry maybe a carabiner or two, maybe a soft Dyneema shackle to hang stuff on the bag with. And then may do a short video with some of the food and how I pack my lunches and stuff like that. But that's pretty much it. And the last trip we took for 4 days, before we put water in, I think it was before water, my daughter's pack weighed 18 pounds. I think my pack weighed about 30. So I tend to be the pack mule in the group, so I do carry more gear. My daughter's she's pretty small, tough as nails, but I try to keep her weight as low as possible. So she'll carry the processed dinners, the Mountain House dinners that we use, and then I'll carry the bulky food like the breakfast and the lunch, and that's usually what runs my pack weight up. So cool. Hope it helps. Get outside, have some fun, follow, share, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching.